all the craziness that's going on, all the turmoil, the natural disasters, the things like that this year, I just wanted to...
Was that a private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the home.
The investigation into the case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez took another significant turn when David's longtime close friend Neil Langston, known publicly as Neo, was taken into custody. The arrest, which occurred in Montana, quickly became one of the most discussed developments in the entire case and has since raised a new set of questions about what Neo may know about the documented timeline. Let us go through everything carefully.
Who that person is, and do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla in that late July before they went on tour. I can't say who the person, and I don't mean I can't say for, I don't know who exactly was in that house because it's just a report, but there's video, but you can't make a person out. But somebody was in the house, and being that there's only one key, it's like, okay, who had access at that time? So is it the same person that moved the Tesla? Was another last part of the plan about to go in motion as far as getting rid of her?
According to official records, Neil Langston was arrested in Montana on a Los Angeles Superior Court warrant for failure to appear for testimony. The formal statement noted that Lewis and Clark County expected Los Angeles County to begin the extradition process. Local news crews reported that multiple officers arrived at Neo's residence in Montana before escorting him into custody and transporting him in a police vehicle. The formal language of a failure to appear for testimony warrant is significant. It means Neo was not arrested on suspicion of committing a crime himself. He was arrested because he was subpoenaed to provide testimony and allegedly failed to appear as legally required. This is a specific and important legal distinction. Being compelled to testify as a witness is not the same as being a suspect or a person of interest in any formal charging sense. What the warrant establishes is that prosecutors or investigators considered Neo's testimony sufficiently important to formally subpoena it, and that when he did not appear as required, they pursued his arrest to compel that appearance. That distinction is worth naming clearly because public discussion of Neo's arrest has sometimes blurred the line between witness and suspect in ways that are not supported by the available formal record.
Some time, a lot of people were curious as to when she could have passed away. If she passed away at the beginning of 2025, why did she only just start smelling in September of 2025? Well, according to what we are hearing from sources close to LAPD, it seems as if Celeste Rivas Hernandez was actually frozen for a period of time. Freezing up would preserve that for an extended period of time, and it seems as if she was removed from being in a frozen state and put in David's Tesla. And because of that, the medical examiner is likely not going to be able to determine a CO.
All times for this to happen, as discovered in his car, after she's been identified, for there to be a potential swatting incident where somebody calls 911 with a fake allegation, a fake crime for their property, out of all people, out of all times, it's weird.
There is no public confirmation that Neo has been charged with any crime in connection with this investigation. As news of the arrest spread, public attention quickly turned to the documented nature of Neo's relationship with David. The two had frequently appeared together on social media across an extended period, shared events, social gatherings, casual content, and the kind of recurring documented social proximity that made Neo one of the most consistently visible people in David's public-facing life.
It's weird, but it doesn't necessarily surprise me because this case has taken on national significance in terms of people paying attention to it. And there are bad actors that understand how to bring somebody by way of swatting. So somebody called the 911 system down there. They found the address online and basically made up a story for the cops to go there. And then they went in, and fortunately the police were very professional and they were able to immediately understand that it was a swatting incident and it wasn't a legit.
Those documented appearances have naturally made him a figure of interest in public discussion about who was present in David's world during the period under investigation. However, as we want to state clearly, public social media appearances and close friendship with someone facing serious charges do not in themselves establish any wrongdoing on Neo's part. One publicly noted behavioral change that has attracted specific attention is that Neo reportedly removed all references to David from his social media accounts and unfollowed him on Instagram following David's arrest.
Indication about where David is right now?
I don't. I have no idea. And it's kind of bizarre because his group has stayed so silent. What's left of his group, I guess. And I'm not even sure the conversations that the owner did have with his management in breaking that lease. I'm not even 100% sure his management knows at this time where he's at. I think his attorney might be the only one, and his parents.
The timing of those changes generated immediate public discussion. Why would someone publicly distance themselves from a friend through social media modifications in the immediate aftermath of that friend's arrest? There are multiple entirely ordinary explanations for that kind of behavior. Someone with no involvement in wrongdoing might still choose to create public distance from a person facing serious charges for personal, professional, or reputational reasons that have nothing to do with culpability. Someone with relevant knowledge might choose to create distance as part of navigating their own legal situation.
Right. Could a court look at this and say this was a deliberate attempt to, what you say, concealing assets, and they could breach it, they could pierce it, they could say, even though that you've transferred this into your mother's name, that was invalid. This is a way for, let's say, a plaintiff who sues him, or let's say in a criminal judgment to pay that fine. Can a court look at that and say, even though you transferred it, it's still open season on those properties?
Someone following legal advice might be counseled to reduce their public association with a co-accused or subject of investigation. Without additional confirmed information, the social media changes are a documented behavioral fact without a confirmed explanation. Neo had also made a public statement following David's arrest that circulated widely. That statement read, "Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way, and boy do I got all my receipts for things." That statement, noted in prior coverage, generated sustained speculation about whether Neo was signaling awareness of documented evidence relevant to the case. Whether that interpretation is correct, or whether the statement reflects something more straightforward about Neo's personal legal situation, remains unconfirmed. What is now clear is that Neo is in the process of being extradited to Los Angeles to provide formal testimony. And that testimony, whatever it contains, is considered important enough by investigators to have pursued his arrest to compel it.
Basically, an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego, and the story of the manga went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden, and he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. So like when I was as the detective, I'd be like solving that I'm committing myself. And it was like a cool little story. I didn't think anything would come of it.
Prosecutors are reportedly hoping Neo's testimony could clarify key questions that have remained unanswered about the documented timeline of events surrounding this investigation. Specifically, public discussion has pointed to questions about Neo's awareness of the alleged relationship between David and Celeste, his presence in or around David's professional and personal circle during the relevant period, and the extent of his knowledge of events before or after April 23, 2025. Private investigator Steve Pfizer, who has been publicly covering aspects of this investigation, raised a specific and notable claim in public statements that based on his investigation of David's social media and related records, it is possible that Neo may have been the last person to drive the Tesla connected to this case before it was ultimately towed and the discovery was made.
I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minutes, but I just had some words to share with you for 2025. Despite all the craziness that's going on, all the turmoil, the natural disasters, the pain and things like that this year, I just wanted to tell you guys not to be discouraged and not to lose hope and not to turn your face from God in these times of evil. And then it seems like just at the start of the year, it's literally January and all this stuff is happening. It's like the most insane, it's February now, but it's the most insane start to a year that I've ever seen. But
we want to be direct about the evidentiary status of this claim. It is Pfizer's publicly stated investigative theory and has not been officially confirmed by law enforcement, prosecutors, or any court proceeding. It is a specific and significant claim that, if supported by formal evidence, would represent a major development in understanding the case timeline. But it is unconfirmed and should be treated as such. Separately, investigators reportedly identified a second private rental property connected to David, a location that was not his primary Hollywood Hills residence. According to public reports citing a private investigator, an industrial incinerator with a capacity to reach temperatures of up to 1,600 degrees was reportedly found at this second property. The significance of that reported finding has not been publicly confirmed through any official law enforcement or court statement. Industrial incinerators in Los Angeles are subject to specific permitting and regulatory requirements, and that regulatory dimension reportedly drew additional attention from investigators examining the property.
Oh, yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan. What's about me? Oh, thank you. Mitchell.
I gotta stop with him if you even.
Are
We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
According to reports, investigators are examining the belief that Celeste may have spent time at this second property during the documented period of her alleged relationship with David. Reporting suggests that David's main Hollywood Hills residence was primarily used for visible professional activities, collaborations, content creation, public-facing appearances, while the second property served a more private function. Whether that secondary location proves to have evidentiary significance in the formal prosecution will become clearer as the case moves toward the preliminary hearing.
Yeah, this is what's so puzzling about this. It is a very basic premise of law throughout the country that you can't transfer assets after the event happens that would otherwise trigger collecting on those assets. So we have rules in different states. Sometimes they're called fraudulent transfers. Sometimes they're called fraudulent conveyances. There's a lot of different names for them. But the crux of it is you cannot transfer assets.
The investigation's documented timeline has been significantly expanded by reports about digital and photographic evidence connecting David and Celeste during specific periods in late 2024 and early 2025. According to investigators, digital records placed David and Celeste together in downtown Los Angeles during the night of December 30th into the early hours of December 31st, 2024. That documented presence together just months before the prosecution's April 23rd, 2025 focus date represents another specific documented point on the timeline of their alleged ongoing contact.
Okay, so the plan is hopefully this music thing takes off crazy next year.
Why is he saying? Why are you saying that like you're not like up there?
Well, I'm not there yet, but hopefully it's like even crazier next year. And then I go on crazy year after year for the next 3 years. And then on the 4th year, I retire. And on the 5th year, I'm off the grid, living somewhere like on an island with this crazy crib. No social media, no digital footprint. I'm just gone. In 5 years, I'm gonna be gone.
Will you still remember me?
Yeah, bro. You'll have like the secret codes to the mansion.
Yeah?
You can pull up on every
What's the secret code? Give us the first two numbers.
Absolutely
of the
not.
Private investigator Steve Pfizer also publicly shared information about what his investigation identified as the last publicly known photograph of Celeste. According to Pfizer's public statement, the most recent image his investigation uncovered was taken on January 2nd, 2025 at 5:05 p.m., placing Celeste in the Baldwin Hills area of Los Angeles at that specific time. He carefully noted that law enforcement investigators have access to substantially more extensive resources than any private investigation, and that official investigators may have additional evidence or images from dates after January 2nd.
The stuff from 2023 was not about the Celeste girl that was obviously recently in the news. It's nothing to do with her. I didn't know about her. I didn't know she was... I maybe heard her name once or twice. I had nothing to do with her. The stuff I have from 2023 was nothing to do with Celeste. These were other girls that had claimed David had messaged them or had, relationships with them. And I want people to know that in 2023, I did try and bring the situation to light. And a lot of people remember, I was having a lot of... It got so bad that David's legal team had got in contact with me to remove everything. I've attached an email here that I received from his team in 2023.
That caveat is important. January 2nd, 2025 represents the last date identified through his independent investigation, not necessarily the last date for which official investigators have confirmed evidence. Public discussion of this case has also surfaced a significant piece of concert-related footage that has attracted sustained attention. According to reports, video footage exists that appears to show Celeste attending one of David's concerts, with the footage potentially placing her at the event as late as June 27, 2024, if it is authentic and accurately dated. Reports indicate she appears to be visible backstage near David's brother in that footage. No official confirmation has been provided about the identity of the individual in the footage or about its dating and authenticity. This specific detail and the question of who was present in David's immediate circle during documented events and when is one of the threads that makes the broader investigation relevant beyond David himself.
And basically they removed my song with David from, streaming services because apparently I was spreading misinformation. The thing is, after that, I got in touch with David and I was like, yo, are the claims true and all of this? And he was like, he literally said, I've got it here. He said, no, it's just some people trying to get clout. There's no evidence and stuff. After that, everything was shut down. Everything, no one else.
If Celeste was present backstage at events where members of David's family and inner circle were also present, it bears on the broader question of who in that circle was aware of her existence in David's life and when. That question has already been raised through the formal case record, which documents that Celeste allegedly met David's family on trips to Texas and that a family group chat reportedly included her. The investigation has also intersected with a documented example of deliberate misinformation that is worth addressing directly. A widely shared online post falsely claiming to be from TMZ began circulating during the investigation, alleging that Celeste had been found inside David's vehicle and claiming investigators would be unable to determine what had happened.
Yeah, that's order. Order.
Why you look good?
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
The post gained significant attention before authorities publicly rejected it, stating clearly that the circulating information was inaccurate and that the investigation was ongoing and active. This documented case of misinformation spreading during an active, high-profile investigation is a useful reminder of something we emphasize consistently in our coverage of this case. Not every claim that circulates online about this investigation is accurate. Not every screenshot, not every anonymous post claiming insider knowledge, and not every viral update from accounts claiming to follow the case should be treated as reliable. The formal investigative and court record represents a substantially more reliable basis for understanding this case than the informal information ecosystem that has developed around it. One additional thread in public discussion that deserves careful and specific handling involves clothing-based visual comparisons that have circulated online. Specifically, comparisons between items worn in photos or video associated with Celeste and items worn by or visible near David in other documented footage. We have seen this pattern appear multiple times across the coverage of this case. The hoodie comparison, the shoe comparison from the cleaning video David posted, the concert footage footwear observation. We want to be consistent about how we handle these claims. Individual clothing comparisons made from online video screenshots by non-expert observers without official forensic confirmation represent one of the least reliable categories of information in any investigation.
Fashion. Where'd it go wrong? Ghost. Where did you go? Afterlife.
Similar looking hoodies, shoes, and casual clothing items are extremely common, and confident visual identification from low resolution or partial video footage is genuinely difficult even for trained forensic analysts with access to the original evidence. We note the existence of these circulating comparisons as part of documenting what is being discussed publicly without endorsing any specific claim about what they establish. Perhaps the most important and most emotionally resonant voice in the recent public discussion of this case came from Celeste's own brother, who addressed speculation circulating online about his level of awareness of what was happening between Celeste and David. He wrote publicly, "Why are people lying, saying that I knew more? I didn't, so I don't know why people are lying, trying to make me look bad. Celeste did nothing but love me. I was one of the only people she loved. I never knew information about anything up until the last time she left." That statement deserves to be heard and respected in full. Celeste's brother has already spoken publicly about going to police before this case became nationally known, about raising concerns and being told there was insufficient evidence to act. His statement here pushes back against a specific pattern of online speculation that has attempted to suggest he had knowledge he is not acknowledging. According to his direct public words, that is not accurate, and in the absence of any formal evidence establishing otherwise, his account of his own awareness should be taken seriously rather than overridden by speculation. The Rivera-Hernandez family has been navigating grief, public attention, and an extended formal legal process simultaneously for many months. Every time online communities generate unverified speculation about what family members knew or did not know, it adds a layer of burden to people who are already carrying an extraordinary amount of loss. Celeste's brother's statement is a direct request that people stop repeating claims that are not accurate and that affect how he is being perceived in the public conversation. As this case moves toward the July 7th status conference and the July 21st preliminary hearing, the most significant formal question remains what testimony Neil Langston will provide once the extradition process is complete and he appears before the court. His testimony, whatever it contains, will be formally significant precisely because investigators considered it important enough to compel his arrest across state lines rather than proceed without it. David Anthony Burke has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His defense team maintains his innocence. The formal legal process will determine what the evidence establishes and what it does not. Every new detail that enters the public record will be covered here as it becomes confirmed and verified. Two additional threads from the original reporting deserve direct coverage before we close. During the investigative period before David's formal arrest, reports surfaced about legal and financial decisions allegedly being made behind the scenes. After reportedly hiring a new legal team, claims emerged that certain assets were being transferred out of David's name, specifically that property records allegedly showed ownership of several homes being transferred to his mother. The reasons behind those reported transfers have not been publicly confirmed. Legal experts have consistently noted that asset transfers do not automatically affect the outcome of criminal proceedings if formal legal action ultimately takes place. Whether those reported transfers carry any specific legal relevance in the formal case, civil or criminal, remains something the court will need to evaluate if formally raised. Early public statements from David's team had indicated that he was cooperating with authorities during the investigation. According to more recent reports, that described level of cooperation apparently changed at some point. David is, of course, legally entitled to cease voluntary cooperation and to exercise his constitutional rights throughout, including the right to remain silent and the right to legal counsel. The observation that cooperation may have changed is noted as part of the documented timeline without drawing any specific conclusion from that change. The Itami alter ego interview has surfaced in public discussion again in connection with this script's content. We have covered this in significant depth in prior breakdowns. To summarize for context, David publicly discussed a fictional alternate persona, Itami, in promotional interviews for Withered, describing this character as representing impulses contrasting with his own self-described temperament and as someone who makes different choices than David's own described values. Prosecutors have signaled interest in introducing this creative material as potentially relevant to their case. The defense is expected to challenge any such attempt vigorously, arguing that artistic expression about a fictional character does not constitute a literal admission or evidence of personal intent. The public discussion of that interview has frequently cited a specific line about criminal conduct that David used as an example when describing what Itami does in his fictional creative universe. We have noted throughout our coverage that public reaction to this specific detail, while understandable, reflects the same pattern of retrospective reinterpretation of creative content that we have addressed carefully across multiple prior scripts. What matters in a formal legal context is not whether the creative content sounds uncomfortable in hindsight, but whether prosecutors can establish a legally sufficient connection between specific artistic statements and specific alleged real-world conduct. That is a significantly higher bar, and one the court will evaluate based on formal evidentiary standards rather than public discomfort. We will continue covering every confirmed development in this case as it proceeds toward its upcoming formal milestones. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any updates as the extradition process unfolds. The preliminary hearing approaches on July 21st, and every significant confirmed development in this closely watched and genuinely consequential case continues to emerge. SpillHop. We do not just report the story. We slow it all the way down, go deeper than the headlines, and make sure you actually walk away understanding what is really happening and why it matters.